thinking maybe I should leave. You know this isn't me. I've been suffering ever since that night. I can't find my peace. 'Cause one night stands ain't meant for men like me.
Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all.
Yeah, welcome to the Meetup. We got a special guest today, and definitely come stay with us and watch.
Yeah, come and hang with us.
Yes.
Come and hang with us tonight. This is a special episode. So it's not a regular scheduled program, but we are happy to be here tonight. So we have our new guest. It's not just us. We have someone else on the couch with us today.
Yeah, Selena.
Hello.
Yes. Please stay with us and enjoy.
Enjoy. And who you just heard? Yes. That was him.
Yes, that was music from me. Yes, that's never heard before.
Original.
Yes. Tell me if you like it. Tell me if it.
Before we get started into events, let's chill for a second. Let her tell us about herself. What does she do? Tell us how we got here.
Well, actually, I met Denzel, that's a part of last year, in a band, and he was one of the singers, and I was kind of sitting in with this band, and from that, our friendship blossomed from there, and I reached out to Denzel. I'm doing a festival. It's a jazz festival. It's the second one. And I asked him to come on and perform with us this year. So that's how...
introducing yourself. But that's not all. She gave like a little snippet. She actually played for our band. She was supposed to be a part of the band. She was filling in. And then we would ask her to... join the band completely, and she said no, we weren't good enough. and then she left.
I was gonna post that.
No. We actually had a piano player, which her name was.
Correct. I am tough because I was a music teacher, so I do tend to be a little tough because. It's a tough love because I'm really trying to pull out the best in you. And sometimes, even for the person themselves, they don't realize that they have this gift. And so my job is to make them recognize it and pull it out of them, recognize that talent that they have and perfect it and be the best that you can be.
Yes. And I can say working with you, especially for this upcoming festival, I have definitely grown performance-wise, but also vocally. So I appreciate that, for sure. Appreciate you, girl.
You're welcome. And,
So, before we get to the festival, who are you and what do you do? You as a person.
I'm a free spirit. That's who I am. I'm a spiritual person, and my life is about uplifting others, surrounding yourself with positive things and positive vibes and positive people, and always working as the advocate for the underdog. So, yeah. And then there's this music side of me. And I've been playing the piano since I was 5 years old, classically trained pianist. And so that's where that strictness, Denzel, comes from. I had a teacher, Miss French. Oh my God, let me tell you, if your fingers weren't curved the proper way, she had the ruler and she would smack your hand, or the wrists weren't this or that, or, and I remember saying to my mother, how do we find another teacher? And what's wrong with Miss French? You know, I tell her, and she says, she's teaching you discipline. And I've never forgotten that. And so that has been even a part of me, and that discipline when it comes to life itself, work, and the things that I care about.
No, when you talk about you were classically trained, talk more about that. Were you just into music automatically and you wanted to learn piano, or is there something that your parents said, hey, you know, we want to put you in something that'll discipline you, so pick an instrument?
No, actually, because nobody in my family is musical, right? Immediate family, that there's extended family that possibly could be, but yeah, no, I grew up in London, England. That's where I was born, and we had a piano in the house, and my sister and my brother were taking lessons, and there was a lady that used to come and I was so fascinated by it. Even though I didn't understand what it was, but I would sit there and I'd watch their fingers on there with the songs they were learning, and I would study where their fingers went, and then when they got off the piano, I would go back and try to emulate what they did, and I would play the song, literally learn it. And I did that for a number of years, and then when we moved to Canada, my mother decided to put me in piano lessons because we were staying at the time I went to Canada, we were staying with my father's brother, being new into the country, and we lived with them for some time before my parents were able to move into their own home. But there was a piano in there, and I started playing on there again, and it was my aunt said to my mother that she should put me in piano lessons and learn. So at that point, I was always just playing what I saw the fingers doing or by ear. So, and then so that started my piano journey. It was like one of those little grandmas in the neighborhood that teach all the neighborhood kids. So that's what it was. And if you believe it or not, when I first started, piano lessons were $1.50 for half an hour.
Really? Hey.
That was a long time ago. But yeah. And then when she went up the following year, it was like $2.50. So
right, bring that back. Can we bring that back, please?
And it's funny because when I went to that teacher, the little, the neighborhood teacher, and I went in there and I said, I can already play songs already, right? And she was like, you can? Well, show me. And I started playing all these songs that I had learned from watching people's hands, and so I said, yeah, so, I know how to play. And, I was like 7 years old at the time. And she said, you did really good. But the good thing about doing piano lessons is that you learn how to read music. So you're not just playing by watching people's fingers or, listening, but you're learning the theory behind it as well. And the history, yes. So eventually from there, after I went through the whole curriculum, the teacher told my mother that either she couldn't teach me anymore, and if I was going to continue, I had to go to a more higher professional teacher, and that's when I got more into the classical playing.
Okay.
So
nice.
Yeah.
And that's your main classical. You were classically trained. So
classically trained pianist.
That's
Yeah.
the foundation.
The Royal Conservatory of Music.
Nice.
That, and you're pretty much self-taught. Like you pretty much taught yourself by watching other people.
At first,
But
yeah.
At first,
At
yes.
first.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, I'm Whitehall Yearling trained. Show her
Yes, because I'm a
here.
classically trained opera singer as well, so that's why.
Yeah.
You know.
Just all your foot is everything.
You like art.
Yeah, I'm. Like I said, I'm a free spirit. So, and music is healing, and it's soothing. Sometimes when you had a bad day at work, I could always come home and get on my piano and play. Yeah, and it just sometimes just play for half an hour and it just, all of that just goes away. So
I feel the same way, but I feel like that about clothes.
I feel like that too. I think that's a woman thing though, because
Yeah.
there's sometimes like shopping. Like if I'm having a bad day,
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, it's a shopping day.
Yeah, but more of like what a clothes can make you feel. Like after a long day, you want to come home and wear something comfortable and just like sit in like your like clothes and styling. That's how I feel about that. Like just like you're comfortable, like your own little spot that's yours. So like with me, how music it is for you guys, that's how styling and stuff is like that for me.
Right.
Like is how I like run. It's my happy space. Is how I express myself. It's not just through clothing, but also through like just anything.
Yeah.
Really interior. Just like I like making things pretty. I love making things pretty. I always say it's my superpower.
Okay.
Yeah, just because when you said you like putting managing things or whatever, and I'm like, I can see that because when you told me what you do, and I'm like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kalu like designs. She makes her own outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to actually.
Yeah. Why'd you stop?
I was, because actually I was supposed to go to fashion design school, and I used to draw. I used to make clothes for other people. I used to make my own clothes as well, and when I decided to go do fashion designing, was checking out a school in Toronto, and that was kind of the route I was going to go. But I had some people around me that were encouraging me to go to school to do business administration. I should do something in business. And they said, because if you're going to be a fashion designer, you need to know how to run a business. And so that was what was told to me. And then, with you,
But couldn't you minor in?
so if you notice, programs now are where you may see a fashion program now will include some business courses in it, because you have to know how to manage a business. Now, business administration really is teaching you to be a manager or managing somebody else's company. It wasn't very, because I'm talking 80s, right? It wasn't very entrepreneurial, but I always had an entrepreneurial spirit because I started my own business at 17 years old, and it was called Fashion Flair. And that's where I tell you where I used to design clothes and I would make clothes and so forth. Yeah.
See, and you did all that without having.
Right. But when it came to going to school, adults say, that sounds great, but you need to have a business background. So, and I wouldn't knock it. Did I ever have a job in accounting? No. But it definitely gave me, it gave me knowledge. It opened the door to give me opportunities working in administration sense. I worked in HR for a number of years. I worked in the mayor's office. So working in an office environment.
Stability.
Right. Led me into management and so forth. So that's what it did. Running my own business, having the accounting background definitely helps, right? The marketing, because with me doing this festival, I have to be all these people because I don't have a team. I don't have a marketing team, right, that knows how to do promotions and advertising. So I have
so
to,
many hats that you gotta wear.
Right. I have to manage the finances, the financial documents, and so forth. I'm the grant writer, so there's a lot of hats. So I wouldn't say that it's been wasted, because even though it may not have been useful back then, but even businesses I've had on the side, and as a private music teacher, and even teaching in university and college and so forth, it has helped me with that business background.
I was listening to both avenues and everything, and it led you to here that, where you're doing your own festival and you got experience in that. So I think that's interesting, because that's one of our topics today is journey. Is just how your journey navigates, because life is just like an open book, and you just never really know what's going to happen. You think you're going to do this, and turn around, you end up doing something totally different.
Yeah, because I
know.
never thought I would have ended up in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, yeah, especially coming from Canada.
From England. Parents are Jamaican. Grew up in Canada, and and I grew up in a town that was actually on the border of the U.S. So we had a lot of American influences as well, and Canadian. So, but yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I've changed my career several times, right? And but in those changes, I think it just adds more to the flavor of who you are.
Yeah.
As you grow into your adultness.
Yeah.
And your maturity.
Yes. But I remember how being like, cause I'm only 31, and
only.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because I was just talking to somebody like, man, it's crazy to see 31.
When I turned 30, back then you were over the hill. Now they're saying 30-year-olds are young.
That's
yeah, no, because I still feel young. I still feel like a kid.
I still feel young too.
Yeah.
I think it's all about how you feel.
Yeah.
To be honest, and yeah. This was about how you feel.
But I just remember being like, Dad, like, I had all these goals and these ambitions, and then things
it's not that you had. You have.
I have, yeah, I have. But I was thinking like that when I was like, oh, Dad, is like, am I, is it over? But now I'm realizing, no, there's things that have to happen in my life regardless, and I can keep pushing forward, and those things will come, at their own time. And as long as I'm pushing towards those things, it'll all come into place.
So let me say it to you this way: there's a time and a season for everything. Mm-hmm. And coming back to the journey, so you have these goals that you set, and dreams that you have, and hopes that you have. And I had the same thing, and some of them I've done, and some of them I'm in the journey of, and some of them have yet to come. Mm-hmm. And so that's the way you have to think about it, not in terms of, man, I didn't get to do this when I thought about it when I was 20 and now I'm 30, so what am I going to do? Maybe it's not the time for that yet. You made that dream that you had at 20 may not come to your 50, but your journey on there is building you up and giving you the foundation to hit that. Okay. When it's that appointed time.
All right. Preach that.
It's not, I wasn't preaching. I'm speaking the truth.
I felt it.
You don't get this age and not have something that you've learned. Yeah.
Life is a journey. You just have to, I guess, trust whatever journey, that chapter you're in at the moment.
It's already ordained.
Mm-hmm.
You chose it when you came here. So you're just living it out in the physical. That's all.
I feel that because it's like me without singing. I don't even say me without music, but music in general. It's just like came here like loving it, already wanting to be a part. Whatever music was a part of, I wanted to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. So I definitely feel that like it's definitely ordained for that.
Mm-hmm. So no matter what it is that you feel like you do, you may like start off wanting to be a teacher, for example, but whatever your journey is, you're always like it's going to always lead you to what you're supposed to be on, no matter what.
So it's interesting you say that, because when I think back to when I was a child, and I played a few instruments at the time. My mother had me in singing. I was modeling. Right? I was playing in the marching band. I had all these things that I did, and then volunteered into these political parties, and so I had a busy childhood, right? Mm-hmm. And but music was always the one thing that was constant for me. Mm-hmm. And so with being in all these different aspects of music that my mother, I will say, that put me in. When I finished high school, I naturally thought I was going to study music because that's what I had done from the time I was 5 years old up until I graduated from high school. That's all I knew. Besides the fact that I had a teacher in home ec in grade 9 that we did sewing, and she said I couldn't sew, so I had to prove her wrong. And then I got the love for sewing, and that's how I ended up with the drawing and making clothes. So I had these two things, which led me to believe I'm more of a creative, artistic person.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So you're not just one thing.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so, or back then you used to call it, artsy. You're an artsy person. So, so when, I was in a situation where, when I decided that I wanted to go to university to study music, my mother, unfortunately, said to me that, listen, the only musicians that she sees are people that are sitting out on the side of the road with a tin cup. And, she didn't think there was any future in it. Although she used to always tell me this: if you ever fell on hard times, you can always teach music. Mm-hmm. Right? Even though, but in her mind, she thought music was sitting on the side street with a tin cup. She would always say that to me.
No, this is a person that put you into all these
Yes.
music and stuff, and then she told you, but don't ever think that you'll make. All right.
You see the dichotomy there?
Yeah.
And at 17 years old, what was I gonna do? Because this had been my whole life. I didn't do anything else but that. Mm-hmm. So I stopped and I went to go study business.
I see why. Because it was like, okay, now you say I can do that, but then you're telling me that I should do this.
Yeah, because she kind of set you up for the whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, I'm going to put her all in. Nothing against your mom. But like, she set you up for the whoop-de-doo. She was like, I'm going to put you in all this other stuff. And she's going to be like, but
all
you
these
ain't going to be nothing. You're not going to be
express
nothing.
yourself.
Yeah,
But
like what?
when it comes for you to actually express yourself, she's like, yeah, I go to business school because
She
that's
put me
safe.
in modeling because she thought I was too shy. So she thought that would break me out my shell.
They do.
So she had purpose for
For all the things she did.
But let me tell you something my mother shared with me though one day. She said to me that when I was born and they brought me to her, the first thing she looked at was my hands and my fingers. She said, your fingers were so long, they were almost like adult fingers on this little baby body. And so when she saw that, she said, oh, she's going to be a piano player. So when my mother told me that story, I said, well, so naturally I am. I said, because do you realize you spoke that over my life?
Yeah, that's what I said. Again, she set you up for the whoop-de-doo.
She
was like,
spoke it over my life. So it was, I was ordained for that. But, listen, you got to think about how old you are now, right? And when you were 20. My parents met when they were like 18, 19 and got married. Straight off the boat from Jamaica. So when you think about when you thought about how you used to think when you were 20, and then when you were in your 30s and how you think now and how it's changed, and I'm, pushing 60, right? So I've got decades of each decade going how my thought process has changed. So when my mother was in that stage, she was in her 30s, right? Then your perspective changed at 40. So in her mindset, and my mom was a bit naive as well, so people would tell her things and oh, you should do this with her, you should do this with her, and she, oh yeah, let me do that, right? So that's part of it. I don't have any regrets of it at all because it has given me such a vast and diverse personality and skill set and knowledge because of that. And one thing that my mother always stressed, in spite of what her choices were, that she felt she was making the best choices at the time for her children, the one thing that she always stressed and never deterred from was get your education.
That's
right.
why business school came in place.
That's right. Get your education. Because, you know.
Can you tell us a little bit about how did you come about with this festival?
So that's interesting because I can tell you, January of last year, hadn't even entered my mind. I was, well, let's start this way. In 2024, I got COVID and almost died. I remember the day I thought I was going to die. And the little bit of strength I had left, I sat myself up on the bed and I cried out to God and I said, it can't end this way. I still have more to do. I know I still have more to do. I have not accomplished what you set me here on this earth to do. So I know it can't end like this. And as you can see, I survived because I'm here. And it was a lot of praying people, praying for me, calling and praying with me. My parents called me every day and they would sing. That's what got me through. I would listen to music. A lot of my friends at that time, because everything was shut down, they were going online and were doing little music things, on Facebook and so forth. And when you're in the hospital and you're in this little cubby hole room and you can't leave your room, and with COVID, I mean, I couldn't even get up to go walk to the bathroom because I'd just be out of breath after one step. So it changes your mindset a lot, and what's important and what's not. So I thank God I made it out of there. Went through some challenges initially, post-COVID, because it doesn't just go away right away. And not too long after that, my car got shot up. And then when my car got fixed from that, ended up in a car accident. And that was almost 4 years ago, and which has left me disabled. And to the point that I couldn't even stand up. I couldn't walk. Brain injury. I struggled with remembering words, even being able to speak full sentences. I would get very frustrated. I wouldn't talk because of that. And it was a lot to adjust to. Fell in a very deep depressive state. So I had to end up going through what they call IOP, which is intensive outpatient therapy. And so went through that program and to at least to help me cope, give me some coping mechanisms and techniques, going through a life change like that, where I was someone who worked out. I was trained to be a certified personal trainer, doing kickboxing, just having fun with my trainer. And I used to walk 3-4 miles a day. I'd run on the treadmill. I'd do the elliptical. You can't move at all. So that was challenging. And then finally coming to acceptance. And then when the acceptance came, now let's strategize how we're going to move forward in our life. But I had to come through those stages before I got there. So, and I tried to go back to work, couldn't go back to work. And you know, my doctors yelled at me and they were like, you know, you cannot work. There's a lot, you have a lot of challenges, a lot of issues from this car accident. You know, they were like, if you had like one issue, but you probably could, but there was just too many, you know, the neck pain, back, the injury to the hip, concussion, brain injury, shoulder torn rotator cuff, like right off the bone. I couldn't even move this arm. I couldn't dress myself. I couldn't do my hair. Nothing. Right. So, yeah.
Talking about a journey. No, that's a lot. No, and that you are still here to talk about it. You know, that's the blessing. That's the blessing. You know, and God answered your prayer. And He was like, "No, you're right. You got a lot more to do, and you're doing it." You know, I thank you for sharing your testimony. It's a beautiful.
Thank you.
One. Yeah.
So to answer your question, I last year I said I need something to do. And I didn't know what that was. And one day I was listening to Don Allen. He's got a jazz station in Detroit that airs on the internet, and they go on Facebook so many times during the week. They'll broadcast live. And he was talking about this woman in Detroit that I remember from back in the day. She's a singer, and who started a festival, her own festival. And I said, wow. I said, I remember her from back in the day, and I said, she's got her own festival? I was just so impressed, and so I went on the page and I checked it out, and I just got inspired. Then I just, like, visions started coming to me, and I'm seeing people, and I'm seeing the musicians and all of that, and it wouldn't go away, right? And I was just like, I'm not trying to play no festival.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work. My sister and I did a reggae festival. 2027 will be 30 years ago that we did the first ever Windsor Reggae Festival. And and we both had full-time jobs, and we did this festival. I think it was like a 2 or 3 day. We did boat cruises, all this kind of stuff, and it was fabulous. It was just a lot of work. So remembering that, I was thinking to myself, but I was so inspired, and every time I would look out the window, or just I would look outside, because I was thinking, I'm going to do this in my yard, because I did stuff at my home already, and for the community already, and I was just like, that's a huge undertaking. But it was like the more I kept seeing, and God kept showing me, the more I was just like, I can't put this down. And so I said, and one of my favorite scriptures is, faith without works is dead. So I always believe that if God has given you something, you have an idea, and the only way that's going to work, and God's going to make this move for you, is that you actually have to put the work in with it, and show Him that that's what you're doing, and He then directs your path. And that's what I did.
Y'all hear that? You heard that? No, for real.
With no money.
No,
It be like that.
Faith.
That's what
money.
the faith comes down to. But you put in the hard work, and you left your faith to God, and He did His big one.
Listen, let me tell you what I did. I came up with a name, with no money or anything like that. I came up with the name. I registered the business. It was $99, and I went online and I registered the business. Then I went a file for the EIN. Still was not even a plan, right? I went and got the EIN number, and then I took the EIN number and everything. I went to the bank and opened up the bank account. Okay? And I said, now that the bank account is open, God, now we have to bring the money in.
Yeah.
But it makes sense to actually say to God, I need you to bring this money, and I've got nowhere for you to put it. So that's what I did. And I did that by faith.
Hey,
and here we are in the second year.
Yes. That had to be scary at the same time, you know? Just being
It still is.
Yeah.
We got the festival in 2 days, and I'm saying I'm nervous and excited at the same time. It's almost like giving birth.
Every year.
That anticipation.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to be good, but it's just still, whew, it's like it can, and it's crunch time right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I'm looking forward to you performing.
Yes.
Yes, and on the big stage.
Yes. If you see the flyer here. I don't know. We'll have another better picture of it, but it is this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the 16th through the 18th.
That's correct.
Yes.
At Blackburn Park.
Blackburn Park. Yeah.
263 Carpenter Street. It's in Old Town East. We'll be at the corner of 18th and South 18th and Bryden. And but we do want to mention also, because there's not just the festival, but the music and the performances and the great headliners that we have.
Yeah.
But because it's community based, we make sure that we have vendors that are there that are from organizations in the community who are there to help make you aware of certain resources that are available to you, because Old Town East is still an underserved area, and it needs attention, and it's had a stigma for a long time. And one of our part of our mission is, and we're on purpose to do, is to remove that stigma off that neighborhood. But we have back to school supplies for the children on the 17th from 12 to 5. We've got children's activities, games. We got the Pickett Sisters coming to do line dancing, DJ, car show for the kids. It's going to be lovely. Actually, we've got shoes too. Shoes for back to school as well. Free.
Nice. Okay.
Okay.
You hear that? Shoes.
Right.
Come out, get your shoes.
So we're excited about that. This year we added in our free jazz master classes, which is being taught by Michael Hurd from the Ohio State Jazz Program.
All right.
And we also added in this year the first ever Old Town East Jazz and Jokes brunch.
Okay.
So we've got some delicious food at the brunch.
So is that like a comedy show?
We've got comedians,
Okay.
we've got live music, and it's from 11 to 2, and then the stage will open up and then go on till 9:30 that evening, where our headliner comes on at 8 o'clock. That's William Green with special guest Gary Harris. Priscilla Woodson is a special guest, as a singer.
Priscilla,
I'll be doing backgrounds. I'm so honored that my good friend and recording artist William Green asked me to grace the stage with him. And Saturday we've got special effects featuring Kelly Minucci, band that's been around for about 30, 40 years in the jazz scene. And awesome. They've played all over the world, and they're going to be gracing our stage Saturday, 8 p.m. as well, as the headliner.
Nice. This is exciting. I'm just, even though I'm performing, this is new to me. All this is new to me. I was just texting my cousin because he said he was going to come to the performance, because I posted the flyer on my Snapchat, and he messaged me. He was like, okay, I'm gonna be there on Sunday. He's like, for the brunch, and I was like, brunch? I don't know what you. I was like, all right. I was like, well, did you enjoy yourself? I was like, my performance is at 4:45. I was like, be there at that time. But no, it's now that you hear it, it sounds exciting. I can't wait. It sounds exciting.
Yes, yeah, and you find out on more information on our Facebook page, Old Town East Jazz Festival, and that's Old with an E and Town with an E as well. We do have a website. Thank you to Reggie Ware. Reggie Hines came in as one of our premier sponsors, and we were so thankful for him. They designed our website for us, did a lovely job. So we have information on there that you can find out. You can find out about our mission and what we do. And on Eventbrite, you can get information on the Jazz and Jokes part of the festival and the free jazz masterclasses that we're offering as well.
So is the event free for the public? And
It is free for the public. It's at Blackburn Park, and so the only thing that we're asking for is a donation when it comes to the brunch. If you want to sit and have like the the brunch VIP experience kind of thing. We're just asking for a small donation, which you make on Eventbrite. And so that at least covers your food. And then part of that is the donation will go to the back to school supplies for the children, our jazz program and music program. We're going to be starting in the fall, offering free lessons from beginners right on up. So we're excited about that. I'm putting the curriculum together for that. So, you know, I never thought last year this, you know, I'd be doing this. This is what I'm talking about. And, you know, instead of still sitting here, what am I going to do, and, you know, with my life, because things have changed, right? So, and that's why I was saying to you, Denzel, about each decade, there's a time and a season. You have to be at the right place and the right time and the right mindset and have the right experience behind you to get to that one dream that was purposed for when you turn 40 or 50.
Yeah. So I keep that in mind, you know, and y'all keep that in mind too, because that's good information, good advice.
So last thing, Friday, we've got our jazz cipher. So, and we're going to have an open stage for anybody. I mean, if you want to do spoken word, poetry, if you want to spit some lyrics, we can do some hip-hop jazz. We've got some great entertainment planned for that evening as well, but it's going to be open, and then we'll have open just topics of discussion about the rich jazz history in Central Ohio, and specifically even in that Old Town East area that people, because I always want to make sure that I recognize our sponsors, our grantor sponsors as well, because without them, you know, we wouldn't be able to do some of the things that we do, and it's allowed us to grow. So one of the main grantor sponsors that we have is the Greater Columbus Arts Council. We have the City Parks and Rec, and also Columbus City Council. That we received funds from them that helps with the festival and the uplifting of the neighborhood. And then we have our sponsors, like I mentioned, Reggie Ware, who did our website. We thank him for that.
That's my drummer, by the way. That's so you know. That's why I shout him out. That's my drummer.
Yeah. I have to mention Music Go Round, because they came on with us the first year, and, you know, and has pretty much said, you know, as long as they're around, we'll be around. You know, they'll be, you know, doing what they can with us. They help us, you know, with instruments and so forth, and some funding as well. So I want to mention that and give a shout out to Kevin. Kemba Band came on this year. They're a new sponsor, so we're thankful for that connection. Then we have our title sponsor, which is DS Healthcare. They were the title sponsor last year, so we're glad to have them back as well as our title sponsor. We have Side Chicks. Want to mention them because they're actually part of the whole putting our menu together with the Jazz and Jokes. And they do some really interesting mixes of waffles. It's just not plain. So this is going to be nice with the chicken wings and everything. Oh, yeah. So my mouth is watering for that.
Oh, so Side Chicks is a restaurant.
It's a food truck.
Oh, okay.
That will be there, which is nice because it's like right on site. And so you'll be getting that food made fresh.
Yay! And this one is on Sunday.
That's
right?
the Sunday from 11 to 2.
She got excited. Huh? I'm gonna be there performing. I'm gonna be there performing.
You are later on the day though, aren't you?
You didn't even know about it you were talking. Your friend was when I mentioned it to you.
Well, how long does it go? Because
it's 11 to 2.
11 to 2.
So because we got Jose State of Mind. That's going to be doing the live music, and then we've got 2 comedians that will be performing.
Okay, 11 to 2 on Sunday,
Yeah.
and then Denzel, you're later on that day.
Yeah, I won't be able to.
He's actually backing me on my performance. Yeah. So, and he's got some really nice, sweet harmonies there, and then the one song I'm playing the drums on, he will be leading on that song there. So, you know, that'll be all Denzel.
Yeah.
So, want to thank Donato's as well, and Mid Ohio Food Collective. I do want to mention them because we are doing a food giveaway on that Friday evening, and they are co-sponsoring that with us. So we're excited about that. Kroger's and Saver Club. They hosted our Battle of the Bands and our fundraisers for us, so I definitely want to make sure that I'm giving them their props. 98.5 My Jazz. Ron Johnson, he has been with us from the beginning and the inception of last year. Came as a sponsor and did our radio spots for us, so I definitely want to mention him. So, and I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And we want to thank you, Selena.
Yeah.
And for people that want to be sponsors or donors and want to, put their time and join Selena, how would they do that? Who would they reach out to, and how would they reach out to you?
Yeah, so they can reach out at otejazz.com. That's our website. We also have a Facebook page, Old Town East Jazz Festival. You can reach out there. We have our website information on there and our contact number and email. So our email is otejazzfest@gmail.com. And our contact number is 614-446-1147.
All right. Remember, this is this weekend, the 16th through the 18th.
Mm-hmm.
Please come out, show and support. We'll put, again, this flyer up so you know all the times and the events and all that information, and the website to go to get more information as well.
Yes. So even if they weren't, like, next year, because this is like every year, you're gonna have things. So how do we get the people ready to be a vendor for next year? If someone were to be a part of this for the next time.
Well, they can reach out to us because we actually have a vendor link on there, sponsorship link on our website. Mm-hmm. So, and they can fill out the information and it'll come straight to us. Mm-hmm. And we utilize social media quite a bit. So we're always putting out in all the different groups and our page, updating what's going on. We're always looking for volunteers as well. Mm-hmm. So, they can hit us up for that too. And they can check us out on Instagram as well. So. Mm-hmm.
All right. Again, thank you, Selena, for coming out and sharing. I'm excited for this weekend, and we're gonna wrap it up here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. You have any questions? Subscribe, like,
and
follow us on Instagram. Leave a comment. The meetup.
All right. Well, enjoy, and thank you for coming to the meetup. You have a good night.
Have a good night.